Hello everybody, this is General Sparks, creator of Survival the Fittest, the game mode where 4 to 15 teams compete together in an 800 by 800 block square radius that is surrounded by a barrier system where they compete to see who out of all of them is the fittest for survival. Now today we're going to be talking about a few tips and tricks and of course some of the things that makes playing Survival the Fittest a little bit easier. And of course one of those things is, as you can see here, just our friendly traders here that of course have custom trades that will make the game a lot easier. But of course, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. We're going to first mention just a few of the basic rules. And I say rules, but there actually aren't many rules that you need to go by. More along the lines of convenience and things that you should look towards that will make your life as you play Survival of the Fittest a lot better. First and foremost, I'm going to mention the starting point. Each of these is a pod for the 15 teams. There doesn't have to be 15 teams, like I mentioned before. It's going to be 4 to 15 teams. The teams can range from a team of 1 all the way up to a team of 3. This game can handle 45 total players in the game itself, in that 800 by 800 block square area. Now, this you see right now in my hotbar is the starting inventory that you would be playing with when, uh, like I mentioned before, when you start. This would be your base because this game is a game kind of like Bed Wars with a mixture of hardcore. The reason why I say hardcore is you're going to be dropped into a perfectly normal vanilla survival world that, of course, is like that 800 by 800 block radius area. And when you place this base down, you'll be able to respawn, things like that. However, this game does have a bit of a twist to it. This base is your only crafting table, and I'll show you what I mean by that. You aren't able to make crafting tables inside of the game. So your base is actually your only crafting table. If you actually look to the right, I do want to mention something that when you place your base down, it will actually show that your team has placed in that your team is active. Otherwise, it'll actually be showing a number. It'll say blue 1, blue 2, blue 3, depending on how many players are still alive in that team. And once it's destroyed, you'll see that blue team out. I was doing some experiments before, and that's why it was showing blue team out um, on the screen. I just didn't bother to fix that. Now there's a few things to start off with because since you only have one crafting table, you start off with that stone set of tools. You also start off with some food and also a potion of invisibility that lasts 8 minutes. You're going to need that because when you place down your base, you want it pretty hidden. And when you put that, and since you want it pretty hidden, you yourself have to be invisible while doing that. It's a good suggestion to it. I do know some players during the times that we've tested this game that have actually saved their potion of invisibility while only one of their team members placed down their base. Now, as for the gameplay itself, the game itself will last about 2.5 hours to 2 hours, depending on how quickly the players, compete and finish each other off. And there will be a timer itself, and I'm not going to show you at this time because I want to leave at least some of it a little surprising for when you play and things like that. Um, Sorry, my brain just quit on me. That's always fun. Anyway, what you're going to need to keep in mind is, of course, quick access to your base. Like I mentioned before, it is your only crafting table. There aren't any rules anymore. For those of you who've played in the past, there was actually a rule that was set where your entrance had to be able to see the sky or something along those lines. It had to have access to the sky. Now, I'm actually not going to be setting that rule. It's actually more of a recommendation because you do want that quick access to your crafting table because you won't be able to make your equipment anywhere else. Also, I did mention the trades before, and we're actually going to go up here and look at these really quick. You have food, you have materials, you have trade, which we'll talk about that in a minute, and you have potions. There are a few custom potions that I've actually put in here, like the potion of swimming, which gives you water breathing, conduit power, dolphin's grace, and the potion of the rabbit, which gives you speed 2 and jump boost 3. And then, of course, you have splash potion, poison, splash potion, harming. So basic materials. And then of course you have the different kinds of foods which you can trade to get enchanted golden apples. And of course you can get netherite ingots, diamonds, and I know with some of the more recent updates, copper has replaced iron in a lot of the generations. So if you do come across copper, I did set it up so that way you could get that iron replacement. So you can still get your resources in time. It's a 1-to-1 on those. Now, as you might have noticed, there's a lot of emerald requirements. That doesn't mean that you have to go out mining for emeralds to get those. You can actually trade in mob drops to get those emeralds that you need to be able to buy these different resources. So this is, like I mentioned before, completely vanilla. This entire game actually is a data pack. So it won't like lag the server or anything like that. It's completely server side and everything's truly vanilla. Now, the way you win, of course, like with Bed Wars, is being the last man standing. Now, what if there are multiple bases still alive at the end of the timer? So at the end of the timer, all of the bases will be destroyed, and then the border will begin to shrink. And so that's just something I want all of you to keep in mind while you do play this game, because even if you're like that one set of players that like, hey, we could just put our base somewhere and hide it and forget about it, and then we could just survive until the end. There will be a final death match, and you will have to face the players that are fully kitted up, and you will not win. I almost guarantee it. Another thing about these bases is they are actually set up to be your respawn. So there's multiple layers to the respawn. You can respawn on the top layer, which is here in the surrounding area, the next layer down, layer underneath it, and you can go all the way to the point where you're directly underneath it as a respawn point. So you could actually put it in the ceiling of wherever you're currently at, which is really nice. Of course, during these gameplays, I myself do suggest that there is an admin in place just in case there's some technical difficulties. Another thing I do want to mention is there's only one time in which you can move your base yourself, and that is during the grace period. So you can place your base down and pick it up during the grace period. However, at the end of the grace period, the moment your base gets destroyed, it's gone, it's game over for that base. You are on your last life. You cannot craft anything else. You have to deal with what you have, and good luck. Now, I believe that's all the tips and tricks that I can come up with today. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments down below. And of course, I would be glad to answer those. I'm also going to be putting a Discord link down in the description because I do want everybody who watches this to, of course, join us in our fun, and participate to the best of your ability. Or, of course, leave comments on what you guys think we should add to this to make it better. I look forward to it, and I hope you all have an amazing time playing Survival of the Fittest. Please enjoy.